The mindset of smart people. How intelligence actually grows. Most people grow up thinking intelligence is something fixed, something you're either born with or you're not. But truly smart people know a different truth. They understand that intelligence behaves like a muscle. If you train it, it grows. If you ignore it, it weakens. And the difference between people who stay average and people who become smarter every day usually comes down to mindset. This first segment is all about that mindset, the foundation of daily intelligence growth. Before we get into techniques or habits, we must understand how smart people think, how they see the world, and how they think about themselves. Because becoming smarter doesn't start with the brain, it starts with attitude. 1. Smart people believe. Intelligence can grow. This is the starting point of all smartness. Smart people genuinely believe they can become smarter. And because they believe this, they try harder, stick with challenges longer, and bounce back quickly after confusion or failure. When something is difficult, they don't say, "I'm not smart enough." They say, "I don't get it yet. I will learn it." That one word, "yet," changes everything. It shifts the brain into learning mode instead of panic mode. A person who believes intelligence is flexible naturally becomes more intelligent because they don't run from challenge, they run toward it. 2. Smart people choose progress over perfection. The average person fears looking stupid. Smart people don't. They know perfection is impossible and that perfection prevents growth. They are willing to look like beginners, they are willing to fail, they are willing to try something new even if they are terrible at it at first. They understand that every expert was once a beginner. So instead of chasing perfection, they chase progress. Even a 1% improvement each day adds up to massive growth over time. This mindset keeps them learning when others give up. 3. Smart people stay curious. Curiosity is the fuel of intelligence. Smart people ask questions, simple ones, deep ones, uncomfortable ones. They ask why more than anyone else. They don't accept information as it is. They explore it. They dig into it. They look for hidden layers. Curiosity keeps the mind active, flexible, and hungry. And when the mind is hungry, it naturally absorbs more knowledge. A curious person becomes smarter because the world becomes their classroom. Every conversation, every mistake, every day gives them something new to learn. 4. Smart people are not afraid to be wrong. This is one of the most powerful qualities. Most people hate being wrong because it hurts their ego. But smart people welcome correction because correction is education. They don't see being wrong as a threat to identity. They see it as an upgrade. When a smart person says, "I don't know," it doesn't mean they are clueless. It means they are ready to learn. This humility helps them see truths others overlook. Ignorance is not the problem. Protecting ignorance is. Smart people never hide their gaps, they fill them. 5. Smart people value thinking time. In today's world, everyone is busy, everyone is stimulated, everyone is reacting, but smart people make time to think. Quiet thinking is one of the rarest habits in modern life, and yet it is also one of the most powerful. Smart people slow down to analyze their decisions, reflect on their actions, and examine their thoughts. This thinking time helps them understand themselves and the world more clearly. While others rush mindlessly, smart people pause, and their minds become sharper because of it. 6. Smart people study themselves. Self-awareness is a deeply underrated form of intelligence. Smart people constantly observe themselves. They notice what motivates them, what distracts them, what scares them, and what triggers them. They understand their weaknesses and strengths clearly. This inner study helps them improve faster because they aren't guessing at what needs fixing. They know exactly where to focus. When you understand your own mind, you gain the ability to shape it. 7. Smart people take responsibility for their learning. They don't wait for school or teachers or guidance. They educate themselves. If something interests them, they research it. If something confuses them, they look it up. If a new skill is needed, they start training immediately. Smart people understand that learning is their responsibility. And because they take ownership of their growth, their intelligence rises continuously. Closing. The mindset of smart people is built on curiosity, humility, reflection, and responsibility. They don't think intelligence is fixed. They think it is earned. And every day, through small choices, they earn a better mind. Segment 2 will take this foundation and build on it, exploring the daily habits smart people use to get smarter in real life. Daily habits that make you smarter. Every single day, if segment 1 gave you the mindset of smart people, then this segment gives you what everyone wants, the daily habits that actually make a person smarter. Because intelligence doesn't grow through wishing, planning, or hoping. It grows through small, repeatable actions that slowly sharpen your mind over time. Think of your brain as a garden. If you water it daily, new things start to grow. If you ignore it, weeds take over. Smart people understand this deeply. So let's break down the everyday habits they use to increase their thinking power. 1. They read every day, but with purpose. Smart people don't just read automatically, they read intentionally. They don't read to escape life. They read to upgrade it. And they don't read to finish books. They read to understand ideas, challenge assumptions, and collect tools they can use in real life. Their reading style includes highlighting key insights, writing notes in their own words, pausing to think about new concepts, asking themselves how they can apply it. Even 10 pages a day adds up to 3,650 pages a year, and that alone can change the direction of your intelligence. It's not about reading more, it's about reading better. 2. They ask questions all day long. Curiosity isn't something smart people use only in school or during study sessions. They use it everywhere. They ask questions like, why does this work this way? What is the deeper reason behind this? Is there another explanation? What am I missing? This constant questioning activates the brain's problem-solving centers. It transforms normal experiences into learning experiences. Every conversation becomes a mini lesson. Every mistake becomes a teacher. Every day becomes an opportunity to expand the mind. They reflect before sleep. One of the most powerful habits of smart people happens at the end of the day. When most people crash into bed, smart people pause and reflect. They ask themselves, what did I learn today? What surprised me? What confused me? What can I improve tomorrow? This daily reflection strengthens memory, improves self-awareness, and increases clarity. It turns experience into wisdom. Reflection is the process where the brain organizes information, connects ideas, and builds deeper understanding. Missing this step slows your intelligence growth dramatically. 4. They spend time with smart or motivated people. Your environment is your brain's software update. Smart people put themselves in circles that challenge them, stretch them, and make them think bigger. They talk to people who are curious, motivated, creative, skilled, ambitious, and they avoid circles that are always negative, lazy, or small minded. The people you spend time with quietly program your thinking. If you want to grow your mind, grow your environment. 5. They practice. Deep work means focusing on a mentally demanding task without interruptions, no notifications, no distractions, no multitasking, just pure concentration. Smart people schedule deep thinking sessions to study, to build skills, to understand complex ideas, to solve problems, to create. The more time spent in deep work, the more neural connections the brain builds. This is how intelligence accelerates. 6. They learn from multiple sources. Smart people don't rely on one type of learning. They mix everything: books, videos, conversations, courses, documentaries, real life experiences. Every source gives a different angle. They might watch a documentary to understand a topic emotionally, read a book to understand it logically, talk to someone to understand it practically, try an experiment to understand it physically. This variety makes learning faster, deeper, and far more interesting. The more perspectives you absorb, the wiser you become. 7. They write down their thoughts. Writing is thinking made it visible. Smart people use journals, notes, apps, or voice memos to capture ideas, questions, reflections, and observations. Writing helps them clarify their thinking, discover hidden patterns, strengthen memory, create new ideas, track their growth. If you want to become smarter fast, write daily, even one paragraph. 8. They avoid mental junk food. Just like your body gets unhealthy from junk food, your mind gets weaker from junk content. Smart people limit meaningless scrolling, gossip, negative conversations, time wasting videos, useless arguments. Instead, they choose content that inspires, educates, or challenges them. What you feed your mind shapes your intelligence. Closing. These habits are small, but small things done consistently create massive changes over time. Smart people don't do one big thing to become intelligent. They do tiny things every day without fail. If you apply even 2 or 3 of these habits, your intelligence will start climbing faster than you expect. The learning systems. Smart people used to grow faster than everyone else. Becoming smarter isn't just about habits. It's about creating a system that makes learning automatic. Smart people don't rely on motivation or random effort. They build structures around their life that make growth inevitable. In this segment, we're going deep into the learning systems smart people use. Practical, repeatable frameworks that help them learn faster, retain more, and understand deeply. These systems turn intelligence from a gift into a predictable process. 1. Smart people learn in layers. One of the most powerful systems used by smart thinkers is layered learning. Most people try to understand everything in one go. Smart people don't. They build knowledge in layers. Layer 1, basic understanding. Layer 2, deeper details. Layer 3, real world examples. Layer 4, personal application. Layer 5, teaching someone else. Because each layer strengthens the layer before it, understanding becomes unshakable. This is why smart people can learn difficult subjects quickly. They aren't overwhelmed. They process information gradually, layer by layer, until it becomes part of their thinking too. They use the teach back method. There is a rule in psychology. You don't truly understand something unless you can explain it simply. Smart people constantly teach back what they learn. They explain the idea to a friend, a sibling, a classmate, a co-worker, or even themselves in a notebook. This forces the brain to reorganize knowledge and fill in missing gaps. Teaching isn't something you do after learning, it is something you do to learn. 3. They space their learning. Instead of cramming, smart people avoid cramming because they know it creates temporary knowledge. Instead, they use spaced learning, reviewing information over increasing gaps of time. Review after 1 day, then 3 days, then 1 week, then 1 month. This creates strong memory pathways. It's one of the reasons smart people seem to remember everything. They don't rely on memory. They use a scientifically proven system that strengthens it. 4. They use the input think output system. Smart people never only consume information, they transform it. Their learning always follows 3 stages: input, reading, listening, watching; think, reflecting, questioning, analyzing output; writing, summarizing, creating, debating, teaching. Most people stop at input. That's why their understanding stays shallow. Smart people complete the loop. They use their brain actively, not passively. Output is what turns information into intelligence. 5. They break big topics into micro skills. Smart people rarely try to learn something as one giant block. They break it down. For example, learning math becomes logic, algebra basics, problem patterns, formula recognition, real life application. Learning English becomes vocabulary, writing clarity, speech rhythm, structure, listening comprehension. This micro skill approach makes even the hardest subjects feel manageable. Learning becomes a checklist, not a mountain. 6. They create a dedicated learning environment. Smart people don't rely on mood, they rely on environment. Your environment controls your behavior more than motivation ever will. Smart people set up a space that automatically encourages learning. A clean desk, good lighting tools ready, zero distractions, a schedule, a consistent location. Even if motivation is low, the environment pulls them into focus. Studying becomes simpler, easier, and more predictable. 7. They track their learning. Smart people don't learn blindly. They measure their growth. They track what they learned this week, skills they improved, concepts still confusing, weak areas, stronger areas, what they want to learn next. Tracking does two powerful things. It shows progress, which boosts motivation. It shows gaps, which directs focus. Learning becomes intentional, not random. They use the challenge zone system. Smart people avoid the comfort zone because it keeps you stuck, but they also avoid the panic zone because it causes burnout. They aim for the challenge zone, not too easy, not too hard. If it's too easy, boredom. If it's too hard, frustration. If it's slightly above your current level, growth. This is where intelligence expands fastest. Your brain must be stretched, not broken. Closing. These systems make intelligence predictable. They create a structure where learning is daily, intentional, measurable, deep, enjoyable, and consistent. Smart people aren't smarter because of genetics. They are smarter because they follow systems that build intelligence step by step. Use even 2 or 3 of these systems and your learning speed will rise dramatically. How smart people think. Mental models that make you instantly smarter. If the previous segments taught you the mindset, the habits, and the systems of smart people, then this one teaches you something even more powerful: the mental models that guide their thinking. Mental models are frameworks smart people use to understand reality. They simplify complex problems. They help you make better decisions. They prevent confusion. They increase clarity. Think of them as the tools inside a smart person's mind. The more tools you have, the more intelligently you can think. Let's explore the mental models that make smart people see the world differently and smarter. 1. The first principles model. Smart people do not accept things at face value. They break problems down to their most basic truths, then rebuild their understanding from the ground up. This is called first principles thinking. It means instead of asking, how do others do it? They ask, what are the fundamental truths here? What is the core problem? What is the simplest version of this? This model helps smart people create new ideas, solve problems creatively, and innovate in ways others can't. When you break things down to their foundation, the solution becomes much clearer. 2. The 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule states 80% of results come from 20% of actions. Smart people use this mental model every day to prioritize tasks, save time, focus where it matters, avoid wasting energy, identify what truly creates progress. They ask, what small action creates the biggest impact? This single question instantly makes thinking sharper and more strategic. 3. The second order thinking model. Most people think only about the immediate effect of their decisions. Smart people think about the next effect and the next and the next. This is second order thinking. They ask, what happens after this? What will this decision cause later? What are the long-term consequences? This helps them avoid problems before they happen. It helps them make wiser choices, and it helps them see risks other people miss. Second order thinking is one of the biggest differences between average and exceptional intelligence. 4. The inversion model. Instead of asking, how can I succeed? Smart people sometimes ask, how can I fail? Then they avoid the things that cause failure. This model helps them prevent mistakes, avoid stupid decisions, and stay clear of obvious traps. Inversion is powerful because it forces you to think differently. Sometimes avoiding the wrong things is more important than finding the right things. 5. The feedback model. Smart people constantly seek feedback, not praise. They ask, what am I missing? Where am I wrong? How can I improve this? And they don't treat feedback as judgment. They treat it as information. Feedback becomes data. Data becomes insight. Insight becomes improvement. This model accelerates intelligence because it shortens the learning cycle. 6. The compound growth model. This is one of the most powerful mental models of all time. Smart people understand that small improvements repeated daily create enormous results over years, far bigger than effort suggests. Just like money compounds, knowledge compounds. Reading 10 pages a day looks small, but over time it changes your thinking forever. Writing one paragraph a day looks small, but over time you build clarity and communication skills. Smart people think long term. They understand that consistency beats intensity. 7. The probability model. Smart people think in probabilities, not certainties. They don't ask, will this work? They ask, what are the odds this will work? How can I increase those odds? What risks am I ignoring? This mindset reduces emotional decisions and increases rational ones. Life becomes less about guessing and more about calculating. The circle of competence. Smart people know what they understand and what they don't. They stay inside their circle of competence and expand it slowly through learning. They don't pretend to know everything. They don't make decisions blindly. They don't overestimate their skills. This humility protects them from huge mistakes. This circle of competence isn't limiting, it's empowering, it helps them choose wisely. 9. The Occam's razor model. Occam's razor says the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. Smart people use this model to cut through confusion, avoid overthinking, find clarity fast, reject overly complicated theories. Life becomes easier when you look for simple truths first. Closing. Mental models are like mental lenses. They help you see the world more clearly, make smarter decisions, and think in ways most people never do. Smart people aren't smarter because they think more. They're smarter because they think better. Add even one or two of these models into your daily thinking, and you'll notice instant improvements in clarity, logic, and decision making. The focus strategies. Smart people use to think clearly and learn faster. If you look closely at the smartest people in any field, scientists, leaders, entrepreneurs, creators, top students, there's a pattern you can't miss. They are masters of focus. Not because they were born that way, not because they have special brains, but because they learned how to protect, sharpen, and direct their attention better than others. In a world full of noise, distraction, and constant stimulation, focus is becoming a superpower, and smart people treat it like one. This segment is all about the focus systems they use to think deeply, learn faster, and accomplish more in less time. 1. Smart people protect their attention. Like treasure. Attention is the fuel for intelligence. Whatever you focus on expands, whatever you ignore fades. Smart people understand this, so they guard their attention fiercely. They turn off unnecessary notifications, they reduce digital noise, they unfollow distracting content, they limit gossip and negativity, they control what enters their mind because they know the truth. If someone can control your attention, they can control your mind. Protecting attention is the first step toward becoming smarter. 2. They use the one thing at a time. Rule: most people multitask. Smart people don't. Neuroscience proves that multitasking reduces performance, weakens memory, and slows learning. Smart thinkers focus on one thing deeply until it's done. This builds stronger concentration, better memory, clearer thinking, higher quality results. Deep focus is like a mental gym. It strengthens the brain every time you use it. 3. They create focus windows. Smart people schedule blocks of time dedicated only to thinking, learning, or problem solving. During these windows, no phone, no internet, no switch in tasks, no interruptions. These windows might be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 90 minutes. The time doesn't matter, the consistency does. By giving the brain uninterrupted time to work, smart people produce deeper insights and absorb information faster. 4. They remove friction from their workflow. Distraction doesn't only come from devices, it also comes from friction. Friction is anything that slows thinking: a messy desk, missing tools, too many decisions, loud environments, disorganized notes. Smart people make their environment smooth and supportive. Clean workspace tools ready. Clear notes, easy systems, predictable routines. When friction disappears, focus becomes natural. 5. They practice mindfulness to strengthen mental control. Smart people often train their attention the same way athletes train their bodies. They use mindfulness practices such as breathing exercises, present moment awareness, short meditation sessions, observing thoughts without reacting. These practices strengthen the brain's ability to stay focused, resist distractions, stay calm under pressure. Think clearly. A focused mind learns faster because it wastes no energy. 6. They limit information. Overload. Being smart isn't about consuming more information, it's about consuming the right information. Smart people avoid drowning their minds in endless scrolling, random videos, constant updates, useless arguments, low value content. They choose knowledge with intention, quality over quantity, clarity over noise. This selective consumption keeps their minds sharp rather than exhausted. 7. They take strategic breaks. Smart people don't focus non-stop, they take deliberate breaks, not to escape work, but to recharge the mind. They use breaks to walk, stretch, hydrate, breathe, relax the brain. These short resets prevent mental fatigue and increase clarity. Brains are not machines, they need recovery time. Smart people use breaks to return stronger. 8. They create thought time daily. This is one of the most underrated habits of all intelligent people. They schedule time with no input, no phone, no reading, no videos, no conversation, just thinking. During this time, they explore ideas, solve problems, visualize goals, connect patterns, reflect deeply. This thought time gives them insights that others never see, because most people never sit alone with their mind. Thinking time is where creativity grows, understanding deepens, and intelligence sharpens. 9. They end their day with mental clarity. Smart people don't let their mind drift into the next day filled with clutter. Before bed, they often review what they did. Plan tomorrow. Write unfinished thoughts. Organize priorities. Clear mental fog. This keeps their brain light, calm, and ready for focus the next morning. Ending the day with clarity increases productivity and reduces stress. Closing. Focus is the engine behind intelligence. Without it, information becomes noise. With it, your mind becomes a laser, sharp, precise, unstoppable. Smart people don't think harder than everyone else. They think with more focus than everyone else. Protect your attention. Limit distractions. Build deep focus habits. Give your brain the quiet space it needs. Do this consistently, and your ability to think clearly will transform. The communication skills that make smart people stand out. When you observe truly intelligent people, something becomes obvious very quickly. They don't just think clearly, they communicate clearly. Their intelligence isn't trapped inside their mind. It is expressed through their words, their listening skills, their explanations, and even their questions. Because here's the truth. Your ability to communicate determines how far your intelligence can travel. A brilliant mind without communication skills is like a powerful engine in a car with no wheels. It can't go anywhere. This segment focuses on the communication habits that make smart people influential, respected, and effective in school, in work, in relationships, and in life. 1. Smart people. Listen more than they speak. The smartest person in the room is almost never the one talking the most. Smart people understand that learning happens through listening, not speaking. When someone else talks, smart people pay attention to the words being said, the emotions underneath, the patterns in the story, the gaps in logic, the intention behind the message. Listening deeply gives them access to information others miss. And because they absorb so much, they speak with precision later. Intelligence grows in silence. Matron 2. They ask questions that reveal. Truth smart people don't ask random questions. They ask strategic ones. They ask, can you explain that another way? Why do you think that happened? What led you to that conclusion? What makes this important? What evidence supports this? These questions do two things. They uncover deeper information. They help both sides think more clearly. Asking good questions is a form of intelligence. It guides conversations into meaningful territory. 3. They simplify complex ideas. Smart people don't try to sound smart. They try to make others understand. Anyone can make a simple idea complicated, but making a complicated idea simple, that is a sign of a truly powerful mind. Smart thinkers use analogies, examples, stories, visual explanations, step by step breakdowns. This makes their communication clear, relatable, and persuasive. 4. They know when to stay quiet. Silence is a communication tool most people never use. Smart people stay quiet when they need time to think. A conversation is emotional. Someone else is sharing something sensitive. They don't have enough information. Speaking would not add value. Their silence is intentional, not empty. When they finally speak, their words land with impact. 5. They use slow speech for clarity. Smart people don't rush their words. They speak calmly, clearly, and with rhythm. Slow speech shows confidence, reduces misunderstandings, gives the mind time to think, makes the listener feel respected, increases credibility. They don't need speed to sound intelligent. They need clarity. 6. They pay attention to non-verbal communication. Smart people don't just listen with their ears, they listen with their eyes. They read body language, tone, posture, facial expressions, pauses, energy shifts. This allows them to understand the real message behind the words. Communication is 70% nonverbal. Smart people master this silent language. 7. They adapt their communication to the audience. Smart people know that different people require different styles. With a child, they explain gently. With a beginner, they explain simply. With a professional, they explain technically. With a stressed person, they explain calmly. With a fast thinker, they explain concisely. They don't force one communication style on everyone. They adjust because true intelligence is flexible. 8. They think before they speak smart. People create a small mental pause before responding. This pause, sometimes only 1 second, helps them. Avoid emotional reactions. Choose the right words, consider the consequences. Stay calm, speak with logic, not impulse. Most arguments, misunderstandings, and mistakes happen because people speak too fast. Smart people speak with intention. 9. They communicate with purpose. Smart people don't talk to impress. They talk to clarify, learn, connect, solve, explore, teach. Their communication has a direction, a reason, a purpose. This makes every conversation meaningful. Closing. Communication is not just a skill, it is the key that unlocks your intelligence for the world to see. Smart people are not admired only because they know a lot. They are admired because they express it with clarity, confidence, and intention. If you want your intelligence to grow and be recognized, strengthen the way you speak, listen, question, and explain. A sharp mind becomes unstoppable when paired with powerful communication. The decision-making strategies smart people use to avoid mistakes and make better choices. Smart people don't just think better, they decide better. Life is shaped by choices. What you study, who you trust, where you focus, what you ignore, how you respond, what you pursue. Intelligence isn't only about knowing things, it's about choosing wisely. In this segment, we uncover the decision-making systems smart people use so they avoid costly mistakes, reduce stress, and make choices that move their life forward. 1. Smart people. Slow down. Big decisions. Most people make emotional, impulsive choices. Smart people don't. When something matters, health, education, money, relationships, long term commitments, they slow down, they pause, they analyze, they think through consequences. Why? Because emotional decisions create emotional problems, while thoughtful decisions create stable outcomes. Smart people know fast decisions are for small things, slow decisions are for important things. Two, they use logic and emotion, not one or the other. Average thinkers choose between emotion or logic. Smart thinkers blend them. They ask, what does my mind say? What does my heart say? What will matter in the long run? Logic provides clarity. Emotion provides direction. Together they create wise decisions. Ignoring emotion leads to regret. Ignoring logic leads to disaster. Smart people balance both. 3. They use the future self test. Before making a decision, smart people imagine themselves 1 year, 5 years, even 10 years in the future. They ask, will future me thank me or hate me? Is this decision aligned with the life I want? Does this move me closer to my long term goals? This test filters out bad choices instantly. It eliminates actions driven by pressure, fear, or temporary pleasure. Your future self is the wisest teacher you'll ever have. 4. They consider opportunity. Cost smart people don't just ask, what do I get if I choose this? They ask, what do I lose if I choose this? This is the power of opportunity cost. Every choice has a cost, even the good ones. Smart people measure their time, energy, money, and attention carefully because these resources are limited. Opportunity cost prevents you from wasting your life on the wrong things. 5. They avoid decisions made in these 4 states. Smart people never make important decisions when they are hungry, angry, lonely, tired. These 4 states, HALT, weaken judgment, reduce patience, increase mistakes, and cloud perspective. Smart thinkers wait until their mind is clear, their emotions are steady, and their body is balanced. Good decisions require a stable foundation. 6. They ask the reversal question. Smart people don't just think forward, they think backward. They ask, if this turned out badly, why would that be? What could cause this to fail? What could go wrong here? This reversal question reveals risks you haven't considered. It doesn't create fear, it creates readiness. By exploring the negative scenario, smart people avoid the negative outcome. 7. They gather information. From multiple sources, smart people never rely on one voice, one article, one opinion, or one explanation. They collect data from books, experts, friends, science, experience, observation. Then they compare patterns. This multi-angle approach gives them a fuller picture and protects them from misinformation. Smart decisions come from strong information. 8. They use the 5 minute, not 5 hour, 5 day, 5 year rule. Smart people use this time based filter. Will this decision matter in 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years? This rule protects you from overreacting to small issues and helps you give proper weight to big ones. Most things that stress people today won't matter in 5 days, but some decisions shape your next 5 years. Smart thinkers know the difference. 9. They accept imperfection and move forward. Smart people understand that no decision will ever be 100% perfect. They gather enough information, weigh the options, and then commit. Overthinking kills opportunity. Waiting for perfect certainty kills progress. Smart people aim for good enough and take action. If they're wrong, they adjust quickly. That flexibility makes them unstoppable. Closing. Decision making is a hidden form of intelligence. You can know a lot, but if you choose poorly, knowledge becomes useless. Smart people rise in life because they slow down, think clearly, plan ahead, balance emotion and logic, avoid emotional mistakes, learn from the future, learn from the past, and commit with confidence. You don't need more information. You need better decisions. And these strategies will give you exactly that. Becoming smarter for life. Turning knowledge into action and action into identity. We've spent the last 7 segments exploring how smart people think, learn, focus, communicate, and make decisions, but now we arrive at the most important part of all: how to turn all of this into a lifestyle, a permanent identity, a smarter version of you every single day. Because information alone doesn't change your life. Application does, habits do, identity does. This segment is your roadmap for transforming everything you've learned into something you live. 1. Smart people build identity, not just habits. Most people try to do smart things. Smart people try to be a smart person. There is a huge difference. Doing is temporary, being is permanent. If you tell yourself, I'm trying to learn more, you will learn sometimes. But if you tell yourself, I am a person who learns every day, you will learn consistently. Identity changes behavior faster than motivation ever will. 2. They create a personal learning philosophy. Smart people don't follow random advice. They build a small set of principles that guide how they learn and grow. For example, their philosophy might be always stay curious, learn something every day, seek challenge, not comfort. Use failure as information. Think long term, share knowledge to deepen it. This philosophy becomes their internal compass. It keeps them learning even when life gets chaotic. 3. They design their life around growth. Smart people don't squeeze learning into the cracks of their schedule. They build their schedule around learning. They create routines like morning reading, afternoon deep work, evening reflection, weekend skill practice. Their environment, habits, and time all support the same mission: becoming smarter than yesterday. When learning becomes part of your lifestyle, it becomes effortless. 4. They focus on mastery, not just information. Most people chase information. Smart people chase understanding. They don't want to know many things casually. They want to understand important things deeply. Mastery gives you confidence, clarity, creativity, influence, opportunities. When you master something, your intelligence multiplies across your life. Smart people choose a skill or subject and dive deep. Depth beats width. 5. They use failure as a learning engine. Failure destroys average people, but it educates intelligent people. Smart people don't ask, why did I fail? They ask, what can I learn from this failure? And then they adapt. They treat failure like data. Every mistake gives them a new strategy, a clearer understanding, a sharper perspective, a stronger mindset. Smart people don't fear the failure because they know failure invests in their future intelligence. 6. They give their mind time to rest and reset. One of the biggest myths about intelligence is that smart people think non-stop. Wrong. Smart people know the brain needs rest, sleep, mental silence, downtime. They take care of their physical and mental health because they understand something simple. A tired brain cannot be a smart brain. Rest is part of growth. Recovery is part of intelligence. 7. They surround themselves with growth-minded people. Your environment shapes your mind more than any book or lesson ever will. Smart people intentionally build a circle of learners, thinkers, creators, motivated people, curious minds. These people challenge them, inspire them, support them, and push them forward. And just as important, smart people remove themselves from environments filled with negativity, small thinking, gossip, or laziness. You rise to the level of the people around you. 8. They commit to lifelong learning. Being smart is not a destination, it's a direction. Smart people never graduate from learning, they never stop growing, they never stop updating their mind. For them, every day is a lesson. Every person is a teacher, every challenge is a classroom, every mistake is a chapter. Lifelong learning is their secret weapon. 9. They turn knowledge into action. Smart people don't just understand ideas, they use them. They experiment with new techniques, they apply new thinking, they test new strategies, they practice new skills. Knowledge becomes intelligence only when it becomes action. Most people learn something once and forget it. Smart people learn something and live it. Closing. The final message. Becoming smarter isn't about being gifted, it's about being committed. Every day you choose to learn, reflect, listen, ask, think, focus. Grow, you shape your future mind. Smart people don't wait for intelligence, they build it. And now you have every mindset, habit, system, and strategy they use. Make learning part of your identity. Make curiosity your lifestyle. Make growth your mission. If you do, intelligence won't be something you chase. It will be something you embody. Subscribe now. Join the Bright World English Academy family and let's start your English learning journey together.